workshop is designed for us to get something back. That's our consciousness, our African consciousness. The consciousness workshop was started by elders and ancestors. So we want to welcome both of them tonight because there's no empty here. You know, Ivan is here with Brother Sam, and we got Brother Simba here. So we want to welcome all of the spirits who came through this workshop. There's a tradition that goes on with the workshop. I'm a youth, I'm a pupil, I'm still going through life. And I recognize my elders as wisdom, as those wise ones. You know, they say, for every elder that passed away, there's a library that goes along with it. That's that. Okay. Because I recognize I don't know what I need to know about what I need to know of life, that's why I go to my elders. So even when I'm speaking, I know I'm not qualified to speak unless I ask my elders for permission to speak, right? So I'm going to take this time and I ask my permission from our elders where I can teach. Where I can teach Brother David. I check. Now that I got the blessings from the elders, we can go on with this program. We want to welcome the spirit of Sister Welsing. I check. Sister we did, right? Slaves live the life. He said, white slaves. So today, without further ado, we want to bring on know that our spirits, our souls, and our bodies are all over the diaspora, all over the world. We know the African proverb says that as long as you call the name, the person is not dead. They still live as long as you call the name. So tonight we pay homage not only to Dr. Cress Welsing, but to all of our ancestors who have gone on, those in our family, those in our community, those part of our world culture. So tonight I'm going to pose for pour water for Dr. Cress Welsing. I'm going to also pour for Dr. Ben Johnson. I'm going to pour for Dr. John Henry Clark. I want to pour for Dr. Asa Hilliard. And if you would please just call out the names of those people that you know if you call their names, they still live among us. Please call them.
Lord Stevens or Richard Stevens. Dr. Mack. Dan Turner. Frederick Douglass.
And all the names that you didn't call, collectively we acknowledge their presence on this earth by saying,
As is tradition of our ancestors and everything we do, we want to first and foremost acknowledge the presence of the true living God. I want everybody to can with me, just find a place inside of yourself. Take a deep breath. If we can connect each other with breath. I'm not talking about breath in your chest, though. Somebody relax. And a breath from down deep in your belly. Because that's something that connects us all immediately. And when I say acknowledge the presence of a true and living God, what I want to make sure we do is we acknowledge the fact that not only is God present, but God's present in each and every one of us. And if we do that in the beginning of everything we do, like we pour libation to our ancestors, we know that there's nothing we can't be successful at. Because God can do everything but fail. And so we want to connect to the presence of God in each and every one of us. Acknowledge our ancestors, and as the speaker before me, we want to request permission from the elders to begin. Same mother? With permission from the elders again. I just Brother Sam Bradford. My kinetic name is Brother Armand Rock. And it's a real pleasure to be with you today. You've been part of the African Conscious Workshop. Let's do a big hand for the those pictures of African Conscious Workshop, for those young people that continue to keep that going, is a wonderful, wonderful example of African consciousness in the community, and it would not without them, so we really want to thank them for that. We also tonight, we're here because of really the work of Brother Patrick Freeman and Sister Queen Alima. So a big hand for Brother Patrick Freeman. That worked many years ago, took my work to bring people in on a regular basis, and everybody knows the show, The Message. When we needed to get the word from people like Dr. Welsing and all those ancient, those Africans who was putting out the consciousness. It was the message that people remember a time before YouTube. Remember a time when you could just go on a computer and bring up a speaker? The only way you could get a speaker was you had to have somebody who can get them on the radio or get them. And Brother Patrick Freeman did that. How long did you do the lecture for? About 20 years? 14 years. 14 years.
You need to bring it back.
It was good. I want to do quickly, everybody, because we don't got a lot of time and we got a lot of people that we got to speak to, so we want to get right into the agenda, and so we want to start off with a poetry selection by Sister Goodness. Is Sister Goodness here? Okay. So, without any further ado, let me introduce the panel speakers tonight, and they'll do the work of talking about the background of who we're gonna, the legacy of which we're gonna honor tonight. So we're gonna bring all panel speakers up first. So first, let me introduce to the stage Queen Mother Joy. Is she here? Okay. Well, I do see Minister David Muhammad. Let's give it up. Also see Rock, Joe Cole. Let's give it up. And I see Queen Let's give a big hand for Queen. Brother Chris Stevens. Let's give a big hand for Brother Chris Stevens. All right, so
yeah, you're on the panel.
So, the speaker speak, we're going to have.
I wanted to begin in the name of Allah, we represent the merciful, in the name of the Creator, Jehovah, by whatever name we may call him, we always.
Dr. Cress Welsing is making her transition. Aztec, we're in the process of putting a conference together for Atlanta. She's not the only one that made the transition within the last couple of months. Some of you may have heard of Brother Larry Obadella Williams. His line was the archive. He made his transition in December. And we got to spend some time with him and Jim. But his mind is the index. So he made his transition in December. So we're in the process of putting a compass journal together for Aztec. And in that journal, it'll be Dr. Clark, Dr. Cress Welsing, Cress Welsing, and did I say Dr. Ben? Dr. Ben, and then what the whole group is doing, the editorial board. We're all writing a paragraph on Dr. Asa Hilliard, and we're putting that together like we did for Dr. Cress. It's just really I had put a little just a little PowerPoint of some pictures of Dr. Welsing in her, I want to say the last 4 to 5 years of her life here on Earth. And because especially with going on now with Black Lives Matter, things of that nature. And I was trying to put something together, then I started thinking back, had to breathe, like Brother Sam said, sometimes you got to sit back, take a deep breath, and breathe. And I was trying to remember how did I get to know Francis Cress Welsing? And back in 86, 87, I used to go down to New York, the First World Alliance, and they did a lecture series. And every tape I bought, the brother that made the tape, he gives me one. But anyway, make a long story short, that's how I learned about Francis Cress Welsing. I bought a tape. He said, you got to have this one. Then I had papers of hers. One paper that really blew my mind was the origin of the word mother effort. And but that was my first paper that I had read of hers. And as I was putting all this together, then I was thinking, okay, well, I know this, I know that. But I did meet her. I did get to spend some time with her. But most of it has been through Aztec. because she was really close with a lot of the members of that case. They were like brothers and sisters, some of them. Okay, well, don't worry about it. But I just wanted, a lot of things they say here today probably was some of the things I was going to say. But what I did, a sister from Maryland has sent me a bunch of YouTube. So I've been getting, since Sister Welsing went into the hospital, I've been getting information every day on updates and things like that. But I did want to say her funeral or her service, her celebration has been changed from Howard University. It was going to be at Howard University January 23rd from 11 to 3. However, it's been changed to Metropolitan AME Church, which is a historical church, from 3 to 8. So it's still going to be 4 hours, and it is going to be live streamed. If I haven't sent it to you, let me know. If you got an email address, just give it to me, and I can shoot you the information as it comes available. But if you have Dr. Jeffries or Tony Browder, if you have them on your Facebook, they've been sending updates as well. But I did want to start off with, as I started looking at some of her work, some of her papers, some of her lectures, because I'm not a YouTuber, but I'm learning. And because it's so, like you said, it's so much of the lectures, like, you know, for me, when I got into learning about many of the scholars and the ancestors, I listened to cassette tapes. So I guess that's no YouTube now. But anyway, she was at the Aztec Conference in 2011 at Howard University. This one was significant because while we were there, it was her 76th birthday, so they threw a birthday party for her while we were there. And she did speak with us that Saturday. And but what I liked was the way she always started her messages when she was amongst Black people. And I like to start this one off as she would today. And she called it the Black People's Liberation Trail. Thou who are blacker than trillion midnights, thou whose eyes shine brighter a billion stars, those whose hair does coil tighter than a billion springs radiating all energy throughout the universe. We beseech thee, one and only, one to give us total strength to carry out thy will for the universe, to establish justice on earth and live in peace. And I thought it was interesting because of the conversations of just the comments that were made today from the panel on justice. And something that she spoke for was justice. And when we think about Cress Welsing, she spoke on racism and white supremacy for over 40 years. And I just remember listening to her, and she said she never thought that she would be on one topic for 40 years. But, you know, when you think about it, it takes, we've gone through so much, we're still going through it. But what made her unique and what I like, Queen Nzinga always calls her the instructor, a master instructor, because not only did she educate us, she gave us instructions to follow, just like Sister Halim said. She taught, take your child and read to your child. And just as she did, is reading to your child when you're in the womb. They can hear you, they can feel you. And you got to keep that positive energy. And that's, you know, something we don't think about every day, but when we, even, you know, as a woman having life in the womb, you have to talk to that child, you have to nurture it while it's in the womb. And it's really unique. So that was one point I wanted to bring out. The other one was, like I said, she spoke for over 40 years, but something, and I kept hearing it may be in different words, but it was rescuing and restoring the African mind. And that was something she talked about. It may not have been the same version of it, but she always says that's what white supremacy and racism, and for us to overcome it, we have to restore our African mind. First, we have to rescue it, and what she brought to our attention was how racism and white supremacy is affecting us. Once we realize that, learn how to overcome it, then we can restore our mind. And that should be part of our goal, because she said she's not lost. We didn't lose her. As long as she's in our hearts and our minds. And she's gathered the knowledge, so she's even bigger today than she was while she was here on earth. And she never talked, she always talked about in order to have justice, we have here on earth. So when we create the justice and the peace here on earth, we're creating it for the universe as well. Because she's out here in the universe. And you think of Obadiah Williams, Dr. and Dr. Clark, Dr. Hilliard, all of them are gathered together. And we're standing on their shoulders.
That's right.
So we still have lots of work to do, but they set a path, a guide for us to follow. So I know I don't have much time, and I really appreciate the time that you've given me, and I'm glad I was a part of this celebration. And like I said, if there's any information that you need, the updates of the service, if you want to go down to D.C., I don't know if anyone's planning to go. However, just to know that, to put that energy out there, for her to be so dynamic in D.C., even when Howard let her go because of her lecture, her opinion, her theory. She was too high-powered,
Yes.
but she still kept it going anyway. And sometimes I'm not a YouTuber, I'm learning, but I went back and I was listening to her on Phil Donahue show. And they were attacking her. She was just nice and cool, and she came right back at them. And I think it was Tony Brown show from 1974. To go back to think that, like I said, when I came up, it was cassette tape and video or VHS. And today we can go on YouTube and pick up some of the knowledge that she was dropping. So, like I said, and Zink always called her the instructor. I like to think of her as the Queen Pharaoh of our time. She was a strong sister, and she didn't back down. And, when you see her stand up for white supremacy and racism, on TV as well, radio, whatever she did, like she said, she always insisted things in order for us to restore or rescue and restore, we have to study. And not just our own history, we have to study all history because we're in all history.
Yes.
So we have to study it all. So it may take us a little time. We're patient people. However, we still got to study. And I think I would do it like that.
Right. Big round of applause. Look.
All history.
We got to study all history. African history is world history.
That's it.
Anybody else? One more.
Rescue and restore.
Rescue and restore our African mind. Let's give another round of applause. Mr. Donovan, Dr. We'll have a video presentation. My brother Chapa. Let's give a hand to Brother Chapa.
These are just some, for those who haven't been blessed enough to experience Mother Welsing, like most of us have, we're going to take a 5-minute clip so she can, enlighten us on what she's been working for her whole life. And that's understanding racism.
And then Cress, that's it. Prior to that time, I considered myself as a Marxist, and I was looking at racism as a byproduct of economic activity. But as I attempted to use Marx's definition, it wasn't producing the answers that I needed. And at that point in time, I was trained to become a psychiatrist. And I wanted to have some answers so that I could help Black people solve their mental health problems. But as I attempted to use Marx's concept, I wasn't really getting the traction that I needed to solve these problems and the solutions. And so I heard this gentleman one day start talking about a book he had been working on, and he said, no, that you had a system of white supremacy, and that is about people who classify themselves as white being in control and dominating. So Fuller said that this system, that white supremacy was a system, and then listen to this, that this system functions in the area of economics. This system functions in the area of education. This system functions in the area of entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Are you all with me? Do you see the difference? Marx was saying that this was causing this. And Fuller said, no, we have a global system of white supremacy that carries out activity in economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, meaning all the areas of people activity. So then Francis Welsing comes along and he said, why? Why indeed would these people set up such a system? And the question why is a very important question in psychiatric medicine. The question why is a very important question for the brain-computer period, and that's why anybody who knows a little 2-year-old or 18-month-old or, probably 2, and they keep saying, why? Why, Mommy? Why? Because this is a question that turns the brain-computer on. It's a question about cause and effect. You see? What is happening so that the brain can say, oh, okay, I got it now. Now I can understand, and I can move from there to understand any other thing. So I said, why would these people do this? And then my education, starting at Douglas Elementary School, Williamsville High School, Antioch College, Howard Medical School, okay, classmates or whatever, that all of this came together once I raised this question, because this question just said, brain computers go to work on this problem. And so I was standing in my kitchen, as a matter of fact, doing dishes or cooking, and the brain computer came with the printout. And the printout was this, that here we are on this planet Earth. 1/10 of the people have white skin. 9/10 of the people are black, brown, red, and yellow. One of the things that the 1/10 would say is that the 9/10, particularly the black people, were genetically inferior. How many people have heard that? Everybody. So I also understood in training as a psychiatrist, when somebody is pointing, something's wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you, that the behavioral sciences know that the finger that is pointing at somebody else has 3 fingers that are pointing at them. And so I also thought about that and I said, oh, wow. These people are telling us that we are genetically inferior, but the same people are genetic recessive. You see, and even if you have not studied formal genetics, everybody in this room, every black person is a scholar in genetics. Because all black people know don't marry anybody darker than yourself. You see, that's genetic knowledge under white supremacy because black people didn't like their color. And we're trying to get away from this very powerful and dominant color. But the people who were classified as white learned after they had circumnavigated the globe. And everywhere the people were colored. And those white men who had sexual intercourse with the black women and waited around 9 months, they found out that white plus black is equal to color. White plus brown is equal to color. White plus red is equal to color. And white plus yellow is equal to color. So they understood after that voyage, after those many voyages, that these people, the black, brown, red, and yellow people, were the majority people on the planet. And that they were genetically dominant to white-skinned people. And they also made a quick brain-computer calculation that if they did not maintain control and domination over the black, brown, red, and yellow people, that white people could disappear on the planet.
Woo! Check. Okay. Get off. Check.
All right. And without any further ado, the last thing, we move close on time, so I'm going to bring up our last speaker tonight. He's a poet. Let's give him a hand.
Do I have our permission to continue? Okay, we thank you. We're humbled by the opportunity to be able to share with us this evening on this great, tremendous occasion for our youth and our masses. From Africa, you came, majestic to be, intelligent, the African youth, the masses come from Africa, majestic as can be, higher and intelligent, heavier in mind, with a history that goes back so far that nobody can remember what you did or how you did it, young African, how you made the pyramid stand so strong, how you traveled the sea and cultivated the earth, how you philosophized and theorized and was governmental-wise and thought for yourself all the time. How you can do it, young African, with the full knowledge of yourself, with the full knowledge of your past, with the full knowledge to tell you that anything you can do, anything that you want to do because your history is just that bad, the sky's the limit. Serve your people, serve them well. If we serve our people, we never forget Ma'afa. It was the triangular trade, part of it. It was guns for arms and rum for legs. You know it wasn't no fair exchange. The commodities of the triangular trade. From Europe, they sell cargo bound pots and pans and rum and guns to exchange at a profit for people of the sun, captured Africans enslaved on the journey of pain, the black gold of the Indian-made trade. Upon the shores of the Caribbean Isles, the black gold was unloaded to till the ground, to work the land, to build it, to reload the ship with the white gold that now made Europe rich. First ship, then cop, the effects were the same. Europe benefited while Africa was shamed. Guns for arms, rum for legs. You know it wasn't no fair exchange. The commodities of the triangular trade. They made us mad. Give us a rich white capitalist. Snatch him up and wring his neck. Blame him for the pain we feel. It's Tennessee rape. It's Tennessee to kill. Centuries he made, bodies he snapped. Conspiracy against young African males to kidnap back. What about the land he stole from the native red man? And that no good powder milk he sold us in the can. We let him in our land. He gave us a full, certain interpretation of a white. Think I ain't gonna hold the Bible? What? Pray. Wait for him to slip. I'll show him how to give somebody a fit. Fucking full of feathers and tar oil like he did up. Tell him his word. Tell him his word. Because the one was the one. When he was born, they said,
you the one, son? Is you the one? The one that see through the pitfalls and traps. The one that see through the twists and the turns and the dark alleys and whispering in your ear. Be a player. Be a player. Be a player. Players in games we don't control. We the first make drugs in the laboratory, but we sell them. They build in prisons, but we live them. We make the babies, and our babies tell us what to do. They all our leaders kick us and beat. Our leaders tell us that they sorry. We say okay. But who told us not to have love for self when we believe it?
Come on.
The one was the one. When he was born, they said, is you the one, son? Is you the one, daughter? The one to bring the morality back. The one to have fun from. Just the rays of the sun. The one to have fun from. Just the rays of the sun. Are you the one, son? Are you the one, daughter? Are you the one, son? Are you the one, daughter? People's got soul. People's got rhythm. People's is black. I said the people's got soul, the people's got rhythm, the people's is black. Through the father's been tugging wet. She spit right through the red, the white, and the blue, while Brother Gills got first it came with combinations. So tell me they ain't like the African countries of time. I said the people's got soul, the people's got rhythm, the people's is black. The reason started cracking on here in the church choir, y'all of history class. I ain't gonna lie this much. Boy, y'all must have been a bad dude. I said my people's got soul, my people's got rhythm, my people's is black. We're trained in with all nights to do with the pen, Sarah, and the month, and all kinds of living with people to the black liberated child to be a warrior. We know that every day women know Rolling Stone looks healthy. My people's got so much soul. My people's got this, my people's black. I hear the soul, these rivers that are black. They call it young blood. Militants riding at 2 o'clock in the morning. Push up, push up, push up, push up. And then we got to keep on pushing up because we ain't free. Lord, 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 my people's got so much soul. My people's got so much rhythm. My people's is all the way black.
First of all, let's all together just say the name of our ancestor, Dr. Francis Cress. Let's just say it together. Dr. Welsing.
Dr. Welsing.
Dr. Welsing. Dr. Welsing. Dr. Welsing.
Dr. Welsing.
We love her. We honor her life. You know, the thing that resonated with me about the life of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is she said that she was a behavior detective. She understood that when people look at you and they see your behavior, they don't see you. She said when you look at people, you see their potential. And if you can see their potential, you can bring that out of them. They try to trick us by trying to talk about the way we behave, and they create that condition. The other thing, I want you to double check me on this. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing never said there was a such thing as white people.
Right.
She never said that. She said there are people who classify themselves as white.
Right.
And she said it over and over again. The reason why she said people who classify themselves as white because she said it's a genetic mutation to albinism.
Yes. Yes.
It's really important to know what she that produce that way the people. So you got to understand that this was so powerful. We touched the surface of today, but what I'm going to ask everybody to do is go home and honor her life by reading something about her. Reading something she wrote, watch the videotape, going out there, get a videotape, going to the library, get a book, but don't just end it here today.
Right.
You go out and make sure you teach it to a child, because that's what you really dedicated her life at. You dedicated her life to a child. When you go to the library and come in and give us 1 second, anybody else want to share a word? We got a minute. He's going to come in here in 2 minutes. He'll say, 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, come on. You were supposed to go early. We been out here. Okay,
and I came because I saw this was going down, and I
all right, so minutes. So do that for now.
Suppose the shackles were on the other foot, and it was whites who started Alexander's roof. Suppose the whites sailed on those ships, but not on the luxurious tip. Chained to one another simultaneously moving bows, multiple regurgitation, Caucasian slaves, born, bred, and raised to raise a big cotton on black plantations, taking over your women and putting fear into your men. Well, that's really going on now and way back then. Planting our seeds into your bloodline, handing you off for petty crime. Suppose the shackles were on the other foot, and it was a white woman who devised the greatest plan, the master plan of all time, escape route. Suppose the blacks was just as rotten, and it was you who became the downtrodden. Winston Channing's taking a beating, searching for God, praying for free, separating child, woman, and man, never again to see the motherland. Suppose the shackles were on the other foot, ended every question, conversation, any answer, yes sir or no ma'am. Suppose the white had to check a box saying, American, African, control people, oppress people, 500 years of going strong. Your only option is picking cotton picking, singing spiritual for white only songs. Having no voice of your own, no choice of your own, having to do what the master say. Suppose the blacks were the faces, the highly racist. Okay. Suppose the world was the people. I would love to become known for raising people. What if it was you snatched in your village? Shipped away without saving. Writing is my pleasure, but for you, it'd be a privilege. Suppose the shackles were on the other foot. If it was the other way around, residing in a one-room shack, resting your head upon the ground, praying to Jehovah for this nightmare to be over. 500 years ago, strong. Suppose the game had different rules. 40 acres in a minute. And all you get for all those years is sheer torment. Suppose the shackles were on the other foot. If this is your reality, casualty, countless fatality.
I have at this point about 150 DVDs, and I show them. So watch the challenges, watch the criterion, because I plan to show that DVD right here in this room. But not too soon, because I still have a full plate at this point in my life, but I will show it. It sounds like it's going to be a great and awesome DVD. I would also like to point out that the Final Call newspaper, someone might have talked about this before I came. Did you talk about it, Brother Tony?
Yes, Brother.
Oh, okay, Brother Dali. Has a wonderful tribute to Dr. Cress, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, called The Indelible Legacy of a Warrior Scholar. And if you don't get the Final Call, you should subscribe. I read the Final Call every Wednesday. The brothers bring my paper, put it in my mailbox, and I read it from front to back. Because a lot of the information and history that pertains to us sometimes it doesn't make the local papers. So you must subscribe to the Final Call. The Criterion, which is the paper I write for the young people in here. The Criterion is the oldest black newspaper in Western New York. It is 90 years old, and the Challenger. You must read those three papers in order to stay educated. And this was such an inspirational article that I plan to cut it out, have it laminated, and pass it on to my grandchildren and my children so that they will read, because young people don't know a lot about them. Because it isn't promoted, and of course you know our history, and that's a battle I've been fighting for almost 40 years. This is Queen Mommy, she fought the same battle in the Buffalo Public Schools to make sure that our history is taught, which it is not taught, but I'm still going to be out there. Somebody said to me Saturday on the radio show that I'm the lone voice. Well, I may be the lone voice, but this lone voice is going to keep on talking. So that's very important. We need memorials, we need monuments, we need statues, we need museums to make sure that our history goes on so our young people will understand that history. But I was in Washington, D.C. last summer. There really is huge African American History Museum that's supposed to be open in late fall of 2016, not too far from the White House. It is absolutely beautiful. So I plan to, since I made a donation to this museum, I got 2 minutes, let me say this real quick. Since I made a donation, I'm calling them this week to ask them if they don't already have Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's information, biography, and photo. I'm going to put the pressure on them.
Great.
Get it in place.
Pushing that Francis Cress learning is.
Making sure we take responsibility for doing that. That's our responsibility to ask. Here they go.
They need to have more than one book in the library and replace it with the
That's right. It needs to be in all libraries, not just this one.
I just want.
That's what you're going to say. All right. Another big round of applause for the light. Oh, and that, so the Wiley book, how much it cost in the Wiley book?
Around $16.98.
All right, so they got to pay $5. At the Wiley book, and that's every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday from noon to 4. They go get the book there, all right?
There you go.
All right, so, okay, the DVD's outside, you can see the brothers outside with the DVDs. Next, how do we find this year, everybody? We find out that every year, Queen Halima, she works to try to get Mother Francis Cress Welsing to come. Y'all say, I'm not coming to Buffalo, it's too cold. We come to Buffalo, and this year, it wasn't that cold now. But let's give a big round of applause for Queen Halima.
Hotep, everyone.
Okay.
Can I have your permission to speak? All right, I won't be long, but I'm promising to be strong. First of all, I want to say to everybody is that today is another ancestor commemoration. And because of that, we have to embrace that as African people, that we acknowledge a cycle of life. So it's the other way. It's the way of the Europeans to see death as a finality, to see death as, a very sad thing that we mourn and things like that. So please, don't get so stiff today. Okay, we're here to celebrate Dr. Welsing's life, and we are here to celebrate her transition, not her loss. This is a transition. She may not be with us in the physical, but now we got that much more power in the ancestral realm. And I just felt that energy happen right now. I'd like to say a student, even though I've never met her, of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing since I was in college. I heard about her book every time I went to the library to get it, it was gone. Finally, somehow, I was at University of Buffalo in the summer and decided maybe with the students gone, I could get it. So I went there to the library, and there it was in my little library. And when I read it, I couldn't put it down. And it guided me as a teacher, and I'm a teacher of young children. Young children meaning preschoolers. Been doing this for 20 years now. And that was one of my guiding principles as an educator. I believe everything she was talking about as far as the imagery is concerned. That even the image of a gun is the image of white male fantasy. That's why it's called the Great Equalizer. She talks about the beauty, and that's what I'm going to just speak on a bit of melanin. Understanding how powerful it is. That what we possess that's in here. Everything else is an output. All of our wonderful scribes, all of our genius of education and agriculture and science and everything like that comes from having this right here, all of this beautiful melanin. And so that was the first, and she always made it a note that the most powerful thing you can do for a child is read. That make them in love with being in the library. So much so that they say it. And when my son was in the womb, I even read to him through the womb so that the vibrations and energies could get in. And he's a voracious reader now. But still going back to that melanin principle, So as a teacher, one of the first things I did with children who were 2 and 9 months old to 3 years old, and I was a new teacher, very youthful, I did a thing called Melanin and Me. And we explored melanin, we mixed brown pink with every color to show that the more that you mix brown with anything, more brown comes out. That's how powerful you are. You can do anything and mix with anybody because we create, others duplicate. We're beautiful about being. So remember, today is not a funeral, you all. She talks about the Lord of the perfect black, otherwise known as a star, okay? Otherwise saying that perfect black. We possess it. This is who we are. And like they said, black don't crash. So I'm going to end my time by reading this poem called Dark Eve. I actually wrote this for my sister because coming up in the late 70s and 80s, if you were dark, my goodness, like they said, if you black, get that, right? There was all kinds of things that we used to tease each other, but I wanted her to know I thought she was absolutely beautiful, and I envied her. I really did. I envied women who had darker skin, you know, in a healthy way because I thought that was such beauty and such power, such power. And we all have it. We are an African rainbow. And remember that. So here it is, Dark Eve. God said, I'll make me a little girl and I'll call her the world. But Satan will call her Dark Eve. Chocolate grape eyes, bright white smile, and ultraviolet personality. She is the angel of darkness, queen of night. She is the one with shade, cool demeanor, yet red hot blood, and skin the color of mystery mud. But I will not call her Darky. She sings sweetly like Lady Day, because her clouds are all covered in gray from the preoccupation of skin color. Norman womanhood is not enough when her melanocyte made her darker than a trillion midnights. Black conscious actions in love to match. Return to the dark shell every day to hatch a new reality of freedom. Seek Dark Eve, queen. Let them know you live beyond the bleach. Come out of the closet. Let everything finally sit through your speech. Come to an awakening. Make your nappy hair be the new perm. Stand against self-hatred and be affirmed that humanity loves this Dark Eve sister. She's the black filament before the universe blister. We must love everything she stands for and worship her feet. Leave soil footprints in the sand. Lead us to release. No matter how yellow I am, I look in the mirror and see you, sister and sister. Our love is sweeter than blackstrap molasses, honeydew, brown sugar baby, colored coffee, black mistress, burnt toast negress. We can't help but see you. Behold what they call mistakenly humanity's curse. Look upon me, cause I am black. Reinterpret Makeda's verse. Beauty in history and constant creation. Solomon wanted her dark womb to enthrone his nation. In her alchemy, African she be, darky she not be, blacky she not be. Yah black blood legacy. Accept your beauty and set yourself free.
All right. Anybody else?
Did she say I'm in love with the melanin man?
You just heard that in the Yes, sir. Let's go ahead, brother.
The most important thing to do is read the child.
Read. Let's give another big hand. Without further ado, let's give a big hand for our keynote speaker tonight, the president of the Eastern Regional Aztec, Sister Deborah Johnson.
All right,
First, I'd like to ask the elders for permission to speak. First, I'd like to thank Patrick for inviting me to be a keynote. And it's kind of hard to say, to come behind these great minds that are sitting here right today. But thank you again. And when, I'm sorry, real quick. Is this not